And one of the startling things, which I think is a global phenomena, is 9 out of 10 mothers are actually extremely stressed to become a perfect mom. Now, the whole fact that perfect itself is a subjective word, and what is perfect, the fact that this is something that causes so much anxiety is really startling. A few really strange or interesting statistics that came out of this was that one I found particularly funny is that 66% of times a mother and a mother-in-law's advice will be different. So it's quite interesting because for any daughters who are also daughter-in-laws, if your mom is saying one thing and your mother-in-law is saying something else, you're kind of stuck in the middle in a often sticky situation. So I think that's quite a revealing statistic. Another thing which is very interesting is India actually has the highest number of women, 57% of women, 54% of women who actually want to go back to work, which I thought was really interesting. But India also has the highest number of women, 67% of women who go back to work and feel guilty about it. So all these things I thought were really interesting, and again, because I do this on the show all the time, it was really nice to see numbers that validate so much of what we actually hear in real life. So to talk more about this, we'd like to invite renowned and wonderful clinical psychologist, Varkha Chelani, to please come on stage. Just last night, I was almost in tears because I did something that I think was wrong. And my husband had to say, relax. And now that my kids are older, they say, Mama, chill. So I think, this anxiety kind of does go with you. So I think we'll start with this anxiety question. So Jeans, starting with you, when you were pregnant and perhaps soon after you had your first son, did you have anxiety? Did you feel people would stress you? Sometimes almost intentionally, people coming to say, are you ready? Are you prepared?
Yeah.
Did that happen?
Tara, even if they didn't do it intentionally, by a certain conversation in the room, I would get stressed. Certain things that, am I doing it the right way?
Yeah.
There's certain things, see, as in life, I think whether you're a woman or whether you're an individual or whether you're a human being, you all come with a certain set of qualities, and being a mom is no different. You come with another set of qualities, and which may not be the same as you, or you may not be the same as me. But when you're in that room and everyone's discussing about certain things, you're like, am I doing the right thing? Because maybe I'm not doing what that mom is doing, And that questioning yourself, which I think is also important in a certain way. I think it's nice to question yourself once in a while. I just think it's not nice to lose confidence in yourself. And I think the first 2 months go in with a lot of things. I mean, be it breastfeeding or be it, choosing the right kind of products. Everything makes a difference to a new mom, and also the fact that she's gone through so much, and but I think after that, what I realized is my child can only be happy if I'm a happy mom.
Absolutely. I think
so. So that's one of the things where I decided that, everyone's trying to help out. And no one means bad. Probably I'm taking it in the wrong way, or, someone else is. But I need to filter just like I would do in life.
Absolutely.
Like, you get a zillion opinions even when you're an actor or even when you're not.
Yeah.
But eventually, you have to do what works for you. And you will go wrong. It's not like you won't go wrong. There'll be days that you will do the wrong thing, but you'll correct yourself, and so what? That's what happens with being a mom as well.
Yeah.
You don't intentionally set out to do anything. I mean, I'm sorry, you all have loads of experience, I'm sure, but from my little 2.5 years, this is what I feel, and I like feeling that way. I like feeling a sense of,
So may I come in here?
Yes.
As a professional therapist, we find that there is no right way or wrong way, and in fact, I think that's a great positioning of Baby Dove, because it's just trying to tell you it's your way. Trust your gut, trust your instinct, go with the flow. And now, when I look back, I have a 16-year-old daughter. Okay, sure, I made a hell of a lot of mistakes, but none for the worse.
Yeah.
And it's parenting is just trial and error. Okay,
You know,
and the errors are not something which are indelible, which will permanently scar your children, or be something where you will hold yourself responsible for the rest of your life. So one caveat which I tell all my parents, I said, you know what? We mothers are very grandiose. We think we are totally responsible for our children. We are not. And I think if you can go home with that message today, that we are not totally responsible for our children, all the anxiety will vanish.
Yeah. But I think, as Janelia said, and as you've also said, nobody means ill, right? When they're giving that advice, most people mean well. So, you know, whether it's somebody coming up to you, a complete stranger saying, oh my God, what are you doing? Or whether it's your mother-in-law or your mom, people mean well. So, coming to you, doctor, do you find that because of this information overload, do you find that we're actually in a generation of more anxious parents, or do you think, and you as a doctor, your role, I'm sure you get messages or calls at 12 at night saying things like, you know, my baby, I don't know, my baby is not crying the way he usually cries or something like that. Sometimes perhaps not as, probably calls that don't warrant a middle of the night call. How do you handle that, and what's your take on this whole anxiety?
See, it's very interesting. You know, like both of you are mom twice, okay? And the anxiety level with the first child may be 100%, you know, but then I always tell parents, wait for your second child. Say, oh, I don't want to go in for that. And suddenly after 2 or 3 years, we'll say, oh, I'm you know, second one. And that's the time I tell them, now you're 50% pediatrician because you've gone through one. So in the second, you know what you're going to get into. And we always believe that all mothers have instincts, definite instincts. And those instincts are what we tell them, believe them. Yeah. And we also believe them. Like I told you, the child doesn't complain. It's the mother who tells me, you know. Yeah. So if the mother knows that today my child is lying down a lot, she'll say, oh, he's unwell today. Yeah. He's not active, he's not running around. And I mean, even if I check him up completely and I say nothing is wrong, she would say, no, doc, something is there. And you check on thermometer, there'll be a small fever or something of that sort. So you realize that's what instincts are. But the best part of the, you know, key word, you have real, perfect mom. There are no, all this don't fit into each. You know, real is a reality check. Yeah. Every day is another day. The child is not the same at 8 a.m. in the morning or 8 p.m. in the evening. You know, it's that kind of a reality check. And perfection is what you believe. Yes. You do something in a particular order, you do something for the child, what do you think is best? And that is perfect. Yeah? Otherwise, everybody would have been a doctor, everybody would have been an actor. You know, that's something you allow the child to nurture on his own. So it's basically the child's way and the mother's way of nurturing the child.
But coming to one of the statistics from the survey, which said that 66% of people, of real Indian moms, said that their mother-in-law and their mother's views are often conflicting. I'd like to come to you as a clinical psychologist. When you have this kind of contradictory advice, apart from confusing people, can it also breed fear? Or how would that work
but what I think the mother at that point, the new mom, has to do is sift the advice and decide that to take some from the mom and apply it where it's relevant to the child, and to take some from the mother-in-law and apply it, because both come from points of view which may be different. And I think the biggest lesson to learn in my parenting was that every child is unique. So I'm a twin, and I realized that my mom used different strategies, if I may use that word, for each of us, even though we were twins. I preferred sleeping longer. My sister was slightly more hyper. So there is no right thing. There is a thing which you have to see fits uniquely to every child that is in front of you. And of course, the parents, both the mother-in-law and the mother, may have points of view. It is as a discerning daughter-in-law and a daughter that you do not put one against the other, and that you take bits of advice from both and put it forward when it works for your child.